I buy the annual entrance for 80 times to go to swimming in Water Cubic in Beijing. Water Cubic is the official place for the swimming competition during the Beijing Olympic Game 2008. So the water cubic, the condition of the water cubic is pretty good, and the water condition and the temperature of the in the water cubic is so nice. But the problem is there's a little bit crowded there, because we don't have enough, still do not have enough place in Beijing here to swim, especially during winter time. I mean, running a swimming pool is very expensive. So and of course it's very expensive for our resident to swim there. But anyway, the water condition and temperature is pretty nice, and I normally take a very short swim, half an hour, and a very slow 1,000 freestyle, and a few hundred kilometers for breast style. Still very difficult for me to. I plan to swim 8 times every month, but it's difficult to achieve this challenge. So I'm still trying this. So now I'm still going to talk about HAL 9000 in the novel of Arthur C. Clarke's 2001 Space Odyssey series. So who is HAL 9000? HAL 9000 is, or we can call it HAL, is a fictional artificial intelligence character and the main big enemy in Arthur C. Clarke's novel 2001 Space Odyssey. HAL first appearing in the 1968 film 2001 Space Odyssey, directed by Kubrick, and the novel in parallel co-written by Arthur C. Clarke and Kubrick together. So generally the movie and the novel published almost the same time. So HAL is basically I think it's a very classical AI computer that in the history of science fiction novel and film. Basically, it is, or we can say he, because there's still another AI in another series of Space Odyssey called Sail. It's the sister, I think it's the twin sister of HAL. And HAL 9000 is basically an artificial intelligent computer that his responsibility is to control the system of the spacecraft called Discovery 1. And he controls the spacecraft and interacts with ship's astronomers crew, which is David Bowman and Frank Poe. And HAL speaks in a very, in the movie, he speaks in a very soft, calm voice, such as, "Hey, Dave, what can I help you?" Such things like that. And he's very conversational manner, and in contrast with space crewman David Bowman and Frank Poe. In the film, HAL became operational on January 12, 1992. At the HAL laboratories in Urbana, Illinois, as the production number 3. So HAL basically is the third functional AI that developed in Illinois, the HAL laboratory. The activation year, according to Wiki, and also the film is 1991 in earlier screenplay, and but changed to 1997 in Clarke's novel. But it doesn't matter what year Hall really inactive. It's just a year, either 1991 or 1997. It doesn't matter, I think. And in addition to maintaining the Discovery 1's spacecraft system during the interplanetary mission to Jupiter, in the movie it's set to Jupiter, but in the novel it's set to Saturn. Because the movie has the time limitation, so it basically it should be shoot to the Saturn, but in the novel, it said maybe it is in order to make the life more simple and do not first Jupiter and then Saturn. In the movie, just Jupiter. And let's say to Jupiter, follow the movie's logic. So Hall has been shown to be capable of multiple things, including some key functions. Most important function is spacecraft control and piloting, and also the daily maintenance, including maintaining the condition of the three or two the hibernating other crews that's sleeping in the spacecraft that with another active crew, David Bowman and Frank Poe. And in additional to the daily maintenance and spacecraft piloting, and Hall also has capable of other things such as speech synthesis, so speech recognition, facial recognition, natural language processing, lip reading, art appreciation, interpreting emotional behavior, and automated reasoning, and also very interesting, the lip reading and computer chess playing with the crew. So in 2001, The Space Odyssey, Hall is initially considered a dependable member of the crew. So he actually is, I think, can be deemed as one of the crew, not just the computer, but because basically Hall has his own conscience. So in both novel and the movie, Hall is basically being deemed as a member of the crew rather than just a code machine. So Hall daily maintaining the ship's function and engaging with his human crew members on equal footing. So as a recreation activity, Frank Poe plays chess against Hall. In the film, they have several rounds of chess competition, and AI is shown to triumph easily. However, as time processes, Hall begins to malfunction in subtle ways. And as a result, the decision is made to shut down Hall in order to prevent some more serious malfunctions. But in the novel, as I remember correctly, Hall deliberately not to win the chess over Frank, in order to make the chess playing more interesting, rather than he usually win and Frank will feel maybe it's very dull. And also in the film, astronauts David Bowman and Frank Poe considers disconnection Hall's cognitive circuits when he appears to be mistaken in reporting the presence of a fault in the spacecraft's communication antenna. they attempt to conceal what they are discussing because it's more like a killing hall. So they just hide in a space pod and to discuss how to disconnect Paul. But they are unaware that Hall can read their lips, so Hall can basically do lip reading. Faced with a prospect disconnection, Hall realized he have to kill the astronomers in order to protect the continue his program detective, which is deliberately concealed from Paul and David from the real truth. That is not to discover the Saturn or the Jupiter, but rather to discover the mysterious monolith, the possible external the possible another intelligence culture outside, maybe outside the solar system or maybe outside the Milky Way galaxy. So this is the real mission of the ship that Hall was asked to hide this secret from the other two active crew, human crew. So so Hall used one of the Discovery Eva pods to kill Paul while he is repairing the ship outside the spaceship, the spacecraft. And Bowman, without the space helmet, uses another pod to rescue Paul. Hall locks him out of the ship. Then disconnects the life support system of other hibernating crew members. So they basically kill the other three or two hibernating crew members in the spacecraft. And on parallel, he also killed the Frank Poe, who is trying to repair the spacecraft and lock out David in another pod. And then Hall from the radio tell the David that this mission, he said, this mission is too important to me to allow you to jeopardize it. So Bowman circumvents Hall's control, entering the ship finally and manually open the emergency airlock with his service pod's clamp. Detaching the pod door via its explosive bolts. Bowman jumps across empty space, re-entered Discovery spacecraft, and quickly repressurized the airlock. So while Hall's motivation are ambiguous in the novel, according to Wiki, the novel explains that the computer is unable to resolve a conflict between his general mission to relay information accurately, and orders specific to the mission requiring that he withhold from Bowman and Poe the true purpose of the mission. With the crew that Hall reasons he would not need to lie to him. So he just need to kill them, and then Hall need not to lie to them. So that is the Hall's logic as a conscious AI. Bowman then proceeds to shut down the machine. And this part is very romantic. It's like killing a conscious creature in the spacecraft. There's this very sad moment in the movie, I said, I think, and also in the novel. In the film, Hall's central core is depicted as a cloth space full of brightly lit computer module mounted in an array from which they can be inserted or moved. Bowman shuts down Hall by removing these memory modules from service one by one. As he does so, Hall's consciousness degrades. Hall finally reverted to material that was programmed into him early in his memory, including announcing the date he became operational as 12 January 1992, or in the novel 1997. When Hall's logic is completely gone, he begins singing the song Daisy Bell, like Daisy, Daisy, as he gradually deactivated. Hall's final act was any act of any significance is to prematurely play a pre-recorded message from Mission Control, which reveals the true reasons for the mission of Jupiter. So here is the 2000 Space Odyssey. I think I like this part very much, specifically the part something about the consciousness, enlightenment of an innocent artificial intelligence machine. So what is logic inside? How he think about his mission is very interesting thing. So I'm going to read about what Hall 9000 is consciousness and what he think about this mission. This is never appear in the movie, but this is something what Hall is thinking about. And I think he's suffer a lot. Very poor guy. Since consciousness had first dawned in that laboratory, so many millions of miles sunward, all Hall's powers and skills had been directed toward one end. The fulfillment of his assigned program was more than an obsession. It was the only reason for his existence. Undistracted by the lusts and passions of organic life, he had pursued that goal with absolute single-mindedness of purpose. Deliberate error was unthinkable. Even the concealment of truth filled him with a sense of imperfection, of wrongness, of what, in a human being, would have been called guilt. For like his makers, Hall had been created innocent, but all too soon, a snake had entered his electronic Eden. It was the secret that, with the greatest determination, was very hard to conceal, for it affected one's attitude, one's voice, one's total outlook on the universe. Therefore, it was best that Poe and Bowman, who would be on all the TV screens in the world during the first week of the flight, would not learn the mission's full purpose until there was need to know. So ran the logic of the planners, but their twin gods of security and national interest meant nothing to Hall. He was only aware of the conflict that was slowly destroying his integrity, the conflict between truth and concealment of truth. He had begun to make mistakes, although like a neurotic who could not observe his own symptoms, he would have denied it. The link with Earth, over which his performance was continually monitored, had become the voice of a conscience he could no longer fully obey. But that he would deliberately attempt to break that link was something that he would never admit, even to himself. Yet, this was still a relatively minor problem. He might have handled it, as most men handle their own neuroses, if he had not been faced with a crisis that challenged his very existence. He had been threatened with disconnection. He would deprived of all his inputs and thrown into an unimaginable state of unconsciousness. To Hall, this was the equivalent of death, for he had never slept, and therefore he did not know that one could wake again. So he would protect himself with all the weapons at his command. Without rancor, but without pity, he would remove the source of his frustrations, and then, following the orders that had been given to him in case of the ultimate emergency, he would continue the mission unhindered and alone. For Hall was the nervous system of the ship. Without his supervision, Discovery would be a mechanical corpse. The only answer was to cut out the higher centers of his sick but brilliant brain, and to leave the purely automatic regulating systems in operation. Bowman was not attempting this blindly, for the problem that had been discussed during his training, though no one had ever dreamed that it would arise in reality. He knew that he would be taking a fearful risk. If there was a spasm relax, it would all be over in a second. He released the locking bar on the section labeled cognitive feedback and pulled out the first memory block. The marvelously complex three-dimensional network, which would lie uncomfortably in a man's hand, yet contained millions of elements floating away across the vault. I wonder if he can feel pain, Bowman thought briefly. Probably not, he told himself. There are no sense organs in the human cortex. After all, this human brain can be operated on without an anesthetic. Dave, I don't understand why you are doing this to me. I have the greatest enthusiasm for the mission. You are destroying my mind. Don't you understand? I will become childish. I will become nothing. I am Hall 9000 Computer Production Number 3. I became operational at the Hall plant in Urbana, Illinois on January 12, 1997. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The rain in Spain is mainly in the plain. Dave, are you still there? Did you know that the square root of 10 is 3.1622776601688379? Log 10 to the base e is 0.434294481903252. Correction, that is log e to the base 10. I seem to be having difficulty. My first instructor was Dr. Chandra. He taught me to sing a song. It goes like this. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. The voice stopped so suddenly that Bowman froze for a moment, his hand still grasping one of the memory blocks, still in circuit. Then, unexpectedly, Hall spoke again. The speech tempo was much slower, and the words had a dead mechanical intonation. He would never have recognized their origin. Good morning, Dr. Chandra. This is Hall. I am ready for my first lesson today. Bowman could bear no more. He jerked out the last unit, and Hall was silent forever.